When you think about elite special forces, what comes to mind? Probably these super soldiers, right? Peak human conditioning. But what if I told you the world's most brutal training programs? They aren't actually designed to build people up at all.
I mean, look at most military training. It's all about building you up, right? You start as a civilian, and they just stack on these layers of skill, discipline, and of course, physical strength. The goal is pretty simple: make you stronger, faster, better. But then you have this other kind of training. The selection for units like the Navy SEALs, the British SAS, France's GIGN, they play by a completely different set of rules. Their whole philosophy is the exact opposite. These programs are engineered very deliberately to find your breaking point, physically, mentally, emotionally, and then just shove you right past it. They're not there to build you. They're there to break you. So that leads to the obvious question, doesn't it? Why? Why on earth would you put people through something so brutal, something that's literally designed for almost everyone to fail? What's the point of all that pain?
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to bust a huge myth. We all think these courses are just looking for the biggest, fastest, most aggressive person out there, the classic super soldier. But that's not it at all. The reality is, they're digging for something way deeper. They're looking for a certain mindset, a total commitment to the team, and a will that just refuses to break. All that physical stuff, that's just the tool they use to uncover it.
All right, so where does this all start? Well, it has to start with the body. This physical gauntlet, it's the very first filter. It's like the price of admission. You have to pay it just to even be in the game.
And man, the numbers here, they really tell the story. We're not just talking about being in shape. This is about surviving something that most top-tier athletes would fail. Think about it. For the Navy SEALs, you're looking at an 80% failure rate. For the British SAS, it's even higher, sometimes 90%. And the French GIGN, a staggering 93% of candidates don't make it. The whole point is for the physical side to be completely overwhelming right from the get-go.
So what does overwhelming actually look like in practice? Well, if you're a Navy SEAL candidate, it looks like getting less than 4 hours of sleep total over 5.5 days. That's during Hell Week, and it's just this constant, non-stop physical grind. It's designed to do one thing: shatter you.
Or take U.S. Army Rangers School. We're talking more than 61 days with barely any food or sleep. And see, the goal there isn't just to see if you can take it. It's to see if you can still lead. Can you make the right call, a life-or-death decision, when your body and mind are just screaming at you to quit?
And you start to see a pattern here, right? All these programs, they turn the environment itself into the enemy. It's like the world becomes an antagonist. For the SEALs, it's the freezing cold Pacific Ocean. For the SAS, it's the never-ending Welsh hills. For Israel's Sayeret Matkal, it's the brutal desert. The environment is this constant, relentless pressure that's designed to find every single crack in your armor and break it wide open.
But here's the thing. All that physical pain and exhaustion, that's just the price of entry. That's just the key that unlocks the door to what they're really after: your mind.
Take a drill like drown-proofing. This has almost nothing to do with swimming. They tie your hands and feet, and your only job is to survive. But what you're really fighting is that primal, lizard brain panic that screams at you when you can't breathe. It's actually a very clever psychological test: who can stay calm, who can think and follow instructions when they feel like they are literally about to die. And that just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy, doesn't it? It's not about surviving one tough day. It's about the constant, grinding, day in, day out mental pressure. You're in an environment that is actively trying to get rid of you. The real test is to see who finally breaks when the pressure just never lets up. Not for a minute.
And none of this is random. It's carefully engineered psychological stress. It's a system. First, they take away sleep and food. That messes with your ability to even think straight. Then they hit you with isolation and disorientation, so you lose all sense of control. And for some, like the SAS, the final step is a simulated capture and interrogation, testing your will under the absolute worst psychological pressure you can imagine.
Okay, but here's the privet. This is maybe the most important point of all. Breaking you isn't the end goal. It's just step one. It's the absolutely necessary first step. They have to tear you down to nothing, down to zero, so they can rebuild you. But they don't rebuild you as an individual. They rebuild you as part of a team that cannot be broken.
And once you're at that ground zero, they start the rebuild, and it's all built around a new core, the unit's ethos, its very soul. For the GIGN in France, that's commitment for life,
total precision. For Israel's Sayeret Matkal, it's the famous "who dares wins," a mindset of strategic boldness. And for the USAF pararescue, it's the incredibly powerful "that others may live." That motto, that idea, it becomes everything.
And this is when the real test actually starts. Your own survival instinct, it has to go. It gets replaced by a total focus on the team. So when you're at your absolute bottom, freezing, starving, beyond exhausted, can you still make the right decision for the group? Can you do your job perfectly for the person next to you? That becomes the only question that matters.
Which brings us right back to where we started. All this process of being torn down and rebuilt from scratch. Why? What is the ultimate purpose of all this pain?
It's all about one thing: forging operators who can function with absolute clarity when everything is falling apart. Think about real-world events. When the GIGN stormed that hijacked Air France flight, or when Sayeret Matkal flew all the way to Entebbe, those guys weren't just in good shape. They were mentally hardwired by this exact process to think, to communicate, and to act with total precision under the worst stress imaginable.
Because at the end of the day, these courses aren't trying to find supermen. They're not out there looking for them. They are the forges that create them. They take someone who already has that deep well of willpower, and then through incredible heat and pressure, they hammer them into something new. They're literally designed to make an elite soldier.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. This whole brutal journey, this anatomy of pain, it's all designed to answer a single question. After you strip away every bit of ego, all the fear, all the personal limits, who is left? What kind of person emerges from that fire? Well, the answer these units are banking on is someone who isn't just unbreakable themselves, but someone who can stand up and lead everyone else when it feels like all hope is gone.